Is buying a new build home as easy as signing the contract right after you fall in love with the model home and choosing your upgrades? Honestly, it's more complicated than that. And there are some risks. And I want to share some information that I think you'll find very interesting. Hi, I'm Gordon Baker, and let's get into the 9 things that will prepare you to buy that new build home. Number 1, review the contract. I can't overstate this. The Arizona real estate residential contract for resale homes tilts in favor of the buyer. Is that the same situation for buyers when they purchase a new home? Ask yourself, who prepared and wrote the contract? The answer, the builder, the entity that is negotiating with you to sell you the house at the best price with the most favorable terms and conditions for them. The contract was not drawn up by a neutral third-party organization. So would it surprise you to learn that it favors the entity that prepared it, the seller, the builder? Just in case you really don't believe me, let's look at some wording from an actual contract. First, how long were you told by the new home salesperson it would take to build the home? 8, 9, maybe 10 or 11 months? Well, we can all cross our fingers. So let's check the contract. They could take up to 24 months, 2 years. That means to me that you better have a plan B. Next, would you expect the house to be built according to prevailing and reasonable construction standards with appropriate material? Well, I would. Well, but not so fast. Let's look at what's written in black and white. Even with the most prudent and construction practices, the possibility exists the home may contain defective or deficient construction and or components. Neither seller, broker, nor contractor represent the home is or will be completely free from defects. The warranty outlines the terms and conditions under which seller may remedy defective materials and workmanship. The warranty provides the sole and exclusive remedies for all allegedly defective construction. Wow, that's not what I was expecting and definitely wasn't mentioned in their nice brochures. Now, are you taking notes? Have you learned something? Let me know by clicking the like and subscribe buttons and hitting the notification bell to be made aware when I upload my next real estate video. Number 3, defects or breach of contract. What happens when either the buyer or the seller breaches the contract? According to this contract, if after 30 days upon written notification, the seller is unable to cure the default, the buyer's sole remedy is to terminate the contract and all amounts paid by the buyer to the seller will be returned to the buyer and neither party will have any further obligation. Now, on the other hand, let's say that the buyer defaults. The buyer will have 15 days to cure or fix the default. If the buyer is unable to cure the default, the contract will be terminated and the seller will be released from all obligations and the seller will retain all deposits made by the buyer as liquidated damages. In other words, if the builder or seller defaults, you get your money back. If you default, they keep all deposits and earnest money. Does this convince you that it may be necessary to thoroughly review and understand the contract before signing? I sure hope so. Even if you are unsuccessful in getting the builder to change the language, at least you know the true risk and can plan accordingly, because if things go south, the contract is what you'll have to live by. Okay, number 4, inspections. The ideal number of inspections for a new build home is 2. Once before drywall, so the framing and other systems can be inspected. Then 10 months after closing, which will help you prepare a list for the builder before the 1-year warranty runs out. Obviously, you'll have to get permission from the builder for any inspections before the close of escrow. Now, these are in addition to the final walkthrough with the builder when the house is complete and prior to signing. Now, is there anything you can do if during the construction process or even after the close of escrow, if you're not satisfied and the builder seems unresponsive? You can always reach out to the Arizona Register of Contractors. Their website is www.roc.az.gov, or they can be reached at 602-542-1525. Now here's an important one, number 5. When you get pre-qualified it is done at the current mortgage interest rates at that time. Well, what if interest rates go up while you're waiting for the house to be completed? Remember, it could take 8, 9, or 11 months, and rates could change significantly. Let's see what could happen. Suppose that the loan amount is $400,000 at a 4% rate. The corresponding principal and interest payment is $1,909. Now, while you're watching the foundation being poured, rates go up by 1% to 5%, and the monthly payment climbs to $2,147, an increase of 12%. Then right after they start the drywall, rates go up again by 1% to 6%, another 12% increase, and the monthly payment climbs to $2,398. A 500 or 25% increase. This may be the increase that takes a buyer past that pre-qualification threshold where they now can't qualify with that higher interest rate even though the purchase price hasn't changed. Talk to your lender, monitor the rates, and lock when it is appropriate. Now, number 6, and it's an interesting one. In certain parts of the valley, you'll find something called expansive soil, which can contribute to foundation and settling issues. If you're wondering where you'll find expansive soil in the area, the Natural Resources Conservation Service, NRCS, has provided a map showing where soil with shrink swell potential, aka expansive soil, is located in the valley. The areas highlighted in red are those more likely to have expansive soil. What builders have done starting in the early 2000s is switch from slab-on-grade foundations to post-tension slabs. You can identify post-tension slabs foundations because they have this stamp typically located in the garage near the front of the garage door. Asking a builder about the type of foundation they use is a question to put on your list. Now, number 7. There are 2 documents that you'll need to pay attention to, and be sure to get them with enough time to thoroughly review them. These are the public report and the conditions, covenants, and restrictions, or CC&Rs. The public report will disclose the utilities for the neighborhood, proximity to airports, nearest schools, and more. The CC&Rs, or conditions, covenants, and restrictions, are essentially the rules for the neighborhood. I did another video talking about the 5 most important items you need to be aware of when reviewing the CC&Rs. These include leasing and renting, parking of vehicles, animal and pet restrictions, architectural restrictions, and residential use and limitations. Now, believe it or not, I have found CC&Rs that reach beyond what they should. So something that would be a good read is ARS Title 33, Chapter 16, Plan Communities. This sets the guardrails for how HOA should act. I guess you could call them CC&Rs for the HOA. I'd like that. Next are CFDs, or Community Facility District. If you stumble upon a highly amenitized subdivision, new or resale, understand that this may exist because the developer established a CFD to finance the subdivision, and that cost is being passed on to the homeowners with higher taxes. I just did a video that will go into more detail on how to research this type of community, and when you visit a new home development, ask them if they are part of a community facility district and request a disclosure that will explain the costs in more detail. Number 9, right now is a good time to explore builder concessions. A year ago, these conversations would not have taken place. Now, with interest rates going up and buyers losing enthusiasm, interest rate buy downs and discount points are useful tools. Other enticements that might be included in the discussion are covering closing costs or a portion of them, credits towards upgrades, and even the price. Contact me if you're interested in considering a new build to make sure you are made aware of all the risks and benefits in buying a new home. Remember that the new build salesperson represents the builder, not you. Thank you.